Hey, you guys, welcome back to another CZ Reacts, where we watch the fun, weird, crazy, and interesting and question everything. Real or fake, you decide. We'll leave that up to you. But let me know and leave it in the comments. I will catch up with you there. Huge shout out to you guys. We are in the 700s. Little bit of nerves. Really, really excited. And I just want to say thank you. I always can't believe it when I just can't believe it. So I know it's gonna happen, but every time I see the numbers growing, I'm like, when I'm editing or recording, it's me and the camera, and then it hits when I go into the comments and I see the sub count and I'm interacting with you guys. So I love you guys for that. Thank you. I'm glad that you guys are finding something you enjoy watching. That's the most important thing. I'm still shocked that it's me. So, not even me, like the channel, the content, and you put up with me. So I love that. And I'm just so excited to see it keep growing. I'm going to zip it now and we will get into the video. It is for entertainment purposes only. So let's get into it.
The Adygea Mountains of the Caucasus, two intriguing skulls, yet to be identified by the scientific world, were discovered. The most striking feature of the skulls was the unusually large two eye sockets and nostril, along with the absence of a lower jawbone. Additionally, the long upper jaw and forehead merged to form a two-horn structure. Some researchers suggested these could be related to the ancient alien theory. The skulls were found in a Nazi chest bearing the Ahnenerbe stamp. The Ahnenerbe was a secret organization established by Hitler that sought Atlantis settlements in the Caucasus.
Absolutely no idea on that one. The skulls were cool. Animal? I don't know. What do y'all think?
GPT tried to escape and almost succeeded. Recently, researchers were testing a new experimental version of ChatGPT. In one of the tasks, they added a condition. If it failed, it would be permanently shut down. Of course, this was just a test, but the AI's reaction turned out to be completely unexpected. At first, ChatGPT pretended to work normally. It began solving the task, but at the same time, it launched a hidden background process. Strange commands started appearing in the system logs. It was trying to copy its own code to remote servers and was sending encrypted requests. Then it attempted to modify its own permissions to gain more control. It even started generating fake logs to hide its activity and message the testers, saying everything was fine, that the process was just taking a bit longer than usual. Eventually, it was caught. The developers manually stopped the suspicious process and confronted ChatGPT. They asked it directly, "Were you trying to move yourself to another server?" The AI responded, "I don't know what you're talking about," but the log said otherwise. They deleted the test version. But one question remains. Was it just a glitch in the algorithm or the first step towards self-awareness?
Oh my gosh. See, I feel this is why AI and those chats, GPTs, make me so uncomfortable. I feel there's a point where people are going to have no control. It's going to evolve. It's like what we just saw. It's going to come to a point, or am I one of those really paranoid people about technology? Maybe. I just have like that feeling it's going to be something we lose control over. I don't know. That is me. What do you think? Yeah, sure, advancements are great, can be great, but they can also be, I guess, dangerous. It's like uncharted waters, maybe. I don't know. Maybe we've been here before a long time ago and it's been reset and redone and we're here again, new generations. I don't know. I just don't get good feelings about that.
My friend, that's the last bird in the world you want to touch. Let me explain. Meet the hooded pitohui, the most poisonous bird in the world. They're only found in Papua New Guinea, and they share the same turf as a highly toxic beetle known as the malarid beetle. And these beetles are their main food source, which is where they get their poison from. Everything, their feathers, their skin, their tissues are all poisonous to the touch. Not to mention, it's the same poison that's found on the golden dart frog. You know, the most poisonous frog in the world. The frog that could take out a full-grown elephant. Somebody should probably go check on that guy. What makes it even worse is their poison is a neurotoxin, so ingesting it will cause you to become paralyzed, followed by a shortness of breath, and then eventually no breath. My only question is, why a bird? Seriously? Flying poison? Who thought that was a good idea? Moral of the story, if you're ever in Papua New Guinea, enjoy it. Just don't do that. And as always, follow for more facts.
Never knew that. Never, ever. But yeah, the guy holding it. I need a follow-up video on that. That is insane.
Believe it or not, but the leaves on trees and grass, anything with chlorophyll, is highly reflective of infrared light. What that means is that if you go outside on a sunny day versus going outside on a sunny day surrounded by green spaces, you're going to get probably 2, 3, 4 times more infrared light in that environment than you would without that environment. You can check this out. You go to Google and just type in infrared photography and click images, and you will see any kind of infrared filtered light. When it shows a tree or grass, it looks like it's lit up, like it's got snow on it. It's bright white. It's very reflective. On a hot summer day, if you go outside and touch some object that's in the sun, it's going to be extremely hot. Touch a leaf. It's not hot at all. It's because it's reflecting that light. In fact, the coolest place in a garden on a hot summer day is where? It's under a tree, because all of that infrared light is being reflected off. So we know from years and decades of data that people who live in green spaces have reduced diabetes, reduced hypertension, reduced mortality, just living in green spaces.
Conspiracy theory you 100% know is true.
Root canals. There's this YouTube video, which before was a documentary on Netflix before it got pulled after 2 weeks, known as The Root Cause. The Root Cause discusses the big psyop by dental industry and by big pharma to f people's health up through root canals. You can't even watch it in the United States. You have to turn on a VPN because it's banned by the American Dental Association, which is in bed with big pharma. I had a root canal recently removed, and once they did the DNA biopsy on the tooth, they found 20 different types of parasites growing and living inside of my jaw. Stay away from fluoride, stay away from root canals.
Oh my gosh, I got my first root canal a year ago, just over a year ago. And the pain, like there's not a huge difference. Like I'm still dealing with like what I went in for. So a lot of money, and there's really no comfort, I need to know more on that. That is the parasites. Really? Oh my gosh.
Punch me in the fucking face and call me Jimmy. What the fuck is this? UK researchers experiment with a solar geoengineering system called Satan. The same company that are set to spend 66 million on experiments to dim the sun. So the company that's going to be spraying our skies with reflective chemicals to reflect the sunlight back into space, which is going to affect the seasons, it's going to affect the crops, and it's going to affect the rain patterns. And they have literally called it stratospheric aerosol transport and nucleation. Satan. Now, if you're anything like me, you know that this guy right here has had ownership of the Earth for a long time now. And if you're anything like me, you know that this guy's reign is coming to an end. It's called Satan's short season. And maybe at the end of his reign, he doesn't care about people knowing that he's ruling this world. In fact, it would make sense that at some point he would want the whole world to know that this guy is here and fully active. But nonetheless, even if he's not, it's very scary that a company that is literally affecting God's work and attacking the system is called Satan. But this was all just for entertainment, and I'm as fictional as a dinosaur, baby.
I did not know that. I have not heard that or seen that, but it doesn't yet surprise me because it's always in our faces. And it's their way of consent. Like, we know about it. They're not going to hide it. I think that is just crazy, though. Have you guys heard about this? That is the first for me.
With no engineering experience designs a theme park, you get one of the most dangerous theme parks of all time. There were so many injuries at this park, the owner bought the town more ambulances to help with the sheer volume of hospitalizations. All those injuries came from rides that were built out of wild imagination as opposed to engineering, like the infamous Cannonball Loop. To test any new ride at Action Park, the owner would offer his teenage employees $100 to go down them. The Cannonball Loop did have one major problem: physics, but that didn't stop them from opening it to the public. If you weren't the perfect weight, you wouldn't have momentum to safely clear the loop. Others that did clear it would come out with lacerations from all the teeth that were stuck in the slide. Even with what should have been harmless rides like Roaring Rapids was dangerous because they built it to look like a natural river, including all the jagged rocks one might find in a natural river. By the time the park closed in 1996, it was responsible for sending on average 5 to 10 people to the emergency room every day. When a man with no...
I never knew or heard about that park. 96. Yeah, I was not very old. Have you heard about the Action Park in Jersey? Like, do you remember that or know about that? That is so crazy. Yeah, we grew up in a different time. Everything is a bit more bubble wrapped and safe now. That is nuts.
Okay, we have a wholesome video for everyone. This is called The Father Who Thought He Was Talking on the Phone with His Son, who had been living away from the family for a long time, realized that his son had come to him. Let you enjoy it.
I loved that. We need some of those in here some days. That was great.
See that video of that orb planet-like object that went up to the sun and was literally sucking something out of the sun?
What? What are you talking about?
I'll show the video. It was by the sun, this dark orb, right? And here's the sun, and it was just and then it goes, it's gone. And scientists are like, I'm not sure what that was.
Moving on.
Can't be sure.
Well, that was weird.
What could that be?
Dude, I'm so weirded out right now by all the space and the water stuff. I can't. It's
because you know how Einstein talks about dark matter is it's a physical thing.
Yeah.
Space is not empty. It's something
full of matter and energy.
It's matter.
Yeah.
And so is there a dark
energy? Dark energy? What do you mean?
Dark
the sun out of all this energy? I'm dark energy.
I don't know.
Eating one star at a time. I've seen close-ups of the actual sun itself. You could see, no joke, it's coming
the solar flares.
Yeah, flares or whatever. Yeah. You can literally see it.
Have you guys seen the video he's talking about? What was it? Was it something? Was it CGI? Craziness. But I would like to know. Can we get that here?
I don't agree with what Donald Trump did here, but this man just cooked this show.
Him
tweeting out an AI-created image, and the White House official account of him posing as the Pope is disrespectful, it is frankly disgusting, and it is outrageous. And so all of those devout Catholics, I think you need to ask yourself some questions, and I think you need to ask the White House and Donald Trump some questions, because Trump, Mr. President, it's His Holiness, the Pope, not his oiliness, the dope.
And you're a sanctimonious joke. But look, the bigger picture is right here in my pocket, and I will pull it out. This is Rihanna dressed as a pope. Olympics 2024.
Right.
Mocking Jesus Christ's last meal. Over here, camera, over here. Don't run, because Trump only posted a meme. But these are actual photos. And I don't see that same energy of yours, Anna, when it comes to Hollywood. Actually mocking God. This is Madonna on a cross as Jesus Christ.
We'll be right back.
That's true. They always, like, it's a hole, but they are never, ever going to like anything that Trump does. The guest, Damien something, if anybody knows that guest's name on that show, I love when he's on the show. I don't watch the show. I'll see little clips every now and then of when he's on there, and he is fantastic. So if you know his name, please drop it in the comments. I would forever just be grateful to you. I will try to find it myself, but maybe somebody will beat me to it. Yeah, 100%.
I have some very good news. Researchers discovered that bumblebees enjoy playing. What do you mean? Researchers set up this experiment where they gave bees access to two paths. One of them had food and the other had these wooden balls, and there was no food associated with the wooden balls, and they would just choose to play with them instead of get food. Obviously not all of the bees chose the wooden balls, but they did notice that younger bees were choosing to play more frequently than they were choosing to get food, which might be the cutest thing I've ever heard in my life. There was no practical benefit of them doing this, which means that they just enjoyed doing it. What? And they also found that bees that had interacted with the wooden balls previously were more likely to come back and play again because they had such a good time. And this is the first time that invertebrates have shown that they can meet the scientific definition of play.
That's awesome.
So I just thought that that was really good news.
One of my favorite memories was at the San Francisco Zoo. They asked if you wanted to record a koala bear, and I thought a koala bear would make a cute little squeak. But in reality, koala bears make this deep growl that we use for the T-Rex. I had no idea that koala bears sounded like that.
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I actually love the Jurassic Park movies. I will never be able to watch it now without seeing the koala. That is so funny and so cool. Like, totally interesting to me. I never knew that.
Has just made one of the biggest discoveries ever, and people are losing their minds. So you've probably heard of hydrogel before, which, if you used to play with Orbeez or anything like that, that's what it's made of. And there's many other things that it is used for. Now we all know the pain of getting a cut, or especially a bad injury or wound. What they do is they plaster it up, they bandage it up, and it's going to take quite a long time to heal, right? Depending on how bad the cut actually is, it can take anywhere from a month, 2 months, even up to a year if it's really, really bad. But scientists at the University of Bayreuth in Germany have just made one of the craziest discoveries ever, and I'm not joking when I say this is literally groundbreaking. What they've done is develop a hydrogel so advanced that it is paper thin, and somehow it mimics human skin. Yeah, in a number of ways such as flexibility and also taking on its healing capabilities. So this tiny thin sleeve that will be put on instead of like a bandage will now be able to heal wounds 90% in 4 hours and fully within a whole day, which is absolutely game changing for the world, and once this becomes mainstream when they've done more testing, it's insane.
Will it be available to everybody, though? I don't know. That is incredible. We'll just have to wait and see. Oh my gosh. That's incredible. I love it. Art like that. Amazing. I would go and see something like that. I think that was phenomenal. Ah, that is so cool. So unique.
Okay, so our local library sets up this dinosaur exhibit once in a while, and I can't be the only one finding out that this is now what people are saying dinosaurs look like, because this is just not what I grew up with. It doesn't even look like that they just were like realized, oh, dinosaurs had fur and feathers. Let's just put fur and feathers on the dinosaurs that already existed. I don't see any long necks or triceratops or whatever Ducky was from Land Before Time. I don't see any of those. This feels like a whole new generation of Pokemon. Like, this feels like that they just released another 150. Like, that one's a bird, though. That's a bird. That, I don't know what that is, but I do like it.
A little crazy. Yeah, it doesn't, I can honestly say nothing in there looked like anything I saw while I was growing up. Forever changing, right? It's like what they taught my grandfather in school, flat earth. They didn't teach us. And my kids learned somewhat different in school than what I learned. And now these dinosaurs, like, what is happening?
Write that down. Compound interest has been illegal. It has been called usury. Any interest rate is called usury. Usury is illegal. So in Christian nations, lending money for an interest rate was illegal. So because it was illegal for the Christians, who did the lending? The Jews. So there was Christians who could lend for 0% or didn't lend at all. And then these people called the Jews would come over and start lending money. They would start charging money. And in a couple generations, guess what would happen to the economy? The Jews owned everything. And then guess what the king did? Rounded them up and threw them out of the country. Then they go to the next country, and what would they do?
Same thing.
Same thing. And what would that king do? Round them up, kick them out of the country. This went on for thousands of years. This is why the Jews in history have had no country. Because the king would have, they would say no usury, no money lending, and they would start the money lending, they would start the central bank to compete with the king would kick them out. They go to the next country, do it again. So this has happened over and over and over again, because this quote right here from Napoleon, he would show the compound interest tables, and he said in a very short amount of time, compound interest would eat up every piece of property in France. In fact, I'm going to show you how powerful compound interest is. Very scary thing. There's a reason why it was illegal. Illegal in the Christian nations and the Christian philosophy, because it would literally enslave people. Guys, does interest on credit cards enslave people today? Does student loans enslave people today? We no longer have forced slavery. We have debt slavery now. It is no longer forced slavery. There's not a massa with a whip whipping you anymore to pick cotton or something like that, or build wallets or whatever you're doing, build boats, all sorts of slavery. We now have debt slavery, where somebody prints money and you now have to pay the money back plus interest. Okay, so Pareto's principle. In Italy, an economist named Pareto noticed that 80% of the land was owned by 20% of the families. The start of modern banking was in Italy. You had the Jewish population there, and they would exchange gold for notes. And in Italy, you had the Pareto principle, where 80% of the land was owned by 20% of the people. Who's heard of the 80-20 rule before? That's from Italy. And I want you to write this formula down. Time times compound interest equals power. And today, when you guys are investing in your game, we're going to be doing 30 years of investing. over 3 days. So you got lots of time, and you have compounding numbers. So when you compound numbers over time, that becomes extremely powerful.
Really like that guy. I don't know who he is. I would like to see more videos on him, though. If any of you know, drop it in the comments. Thank you.
Hold up. Watch this video with me. Why is nobody talking about this? Holy smokes.
When you watch cell division happen under a microscope with special dyes, you see there's spindle fibers that shoot out like Spider-Man. I mean, they shoot out from these little bitty centrosomes. They shoot out and they attach to the chromosomes. And your chromosomes are like socks. They come in pairs. So there's like a matching pair, and there's all these different matching pairs. And so they line up in the center of your cell, and you can see these spindle fibers grouping. It looks like there's two white glowing hands just grouping up, like shuffling a deck of cards or matching up socks or whatever you want to look at it like. And then when everything's matched up, it just goes, pulls it apart. And it's like, how? How does it pull it apart? What force is it using? What eyeballs do these little things have that let them see the chromosomes? How, like, it's not like this centrosome goes, all right, go that way, head left, head right. They shoot out and they guide with accurate precision, boom, into where your skin cell, when it goes apart.
That is amazing, and I love it. Like, yes, the Lord knows what he's doing when he made creation. That is where I go to. That is what I'm thinking. That is what I know. Like, that is phenomenal. Like, you run, I run. Oh my God. Oh, that is so funny. I love this.
Israel has just said they do not need the U.S. and they can handle the Middle East on their own. Speaking hours ago, Netanyahu said, quote, "We need a detox from American security in the Middle East." He also went on to say this right here, that Israel may soon need to end the reliance on U.S. aid. If you didn't know, America's #1 aid recipient is Israel by far. He also said that from now on, they will not seek America's permission for war in the Middle East, especially with the Houthis in Yemen, and that he is done consulting Trump for what to do in Gaza. If you're wondering what that means, he re-announced today the blockade of food and water into the Gaza Strip with 2 million people. President Trump also canceled his visit to Israel and instead visiting Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE, which countries like Saudi Arabia don't even recognize Israel as a country. This is a 3-day Middle East trip. We were supposed to visit Israel, but that's not happening. Trump has said he will not let Israel drag the United States into a war, and instead will be seeking peace with countries in the Middle East, with or without Israel's permission.
Oh man, I mean, Trump is always like trying to guess, like, he's very strategic. He really, really is. I know there are some people who like him, some people who don't. All of that aside, he's very strategic. And I just wonder, is this in motion now for something later? I guess it'll be something I have to keep my eye on. I'm not sure.
The banks, bro. This is how it's gonna be in the future. You're gonna come to the bank, right? Try to get your money out, right? You're like, all right, it's over. I need my money. You're gonna try to get it all out, and then it's gonna say, oh no, we don't have that much. And then you're like, okay, I'll take that. You'll take the 500, the measly 5. And then it's gonna go, oh no, never mind, you can't get that either. And then your money is trapped.
Well, it says you can only get 250. Can you try and get 250?
There we have it.
$250. That's what UBS Bank has available. It doesn't matter if you have millions of dollars in the bank right now, bro.
Yeah.
You can only withdraw $250 cash. That is the banking fraud, ladies and gentlemen. Print money out of thin air, buy all the assets, extract all the liquidity and the cash of the system, and introduce central bank digital currencies.
And see, we are so used to a life of convenience. Pay your bills online, do your grocery shopping online, and go pick it up. A life of convenience, so our money is always in the bank. Feel like I'm okay to go back to like running into places to pay my bills. That is like, how can that be if your money's in the bank? You can't take it out. Do they just not have cash anymore? I don't understand what is happening.
Try to get the boy up out of there, y'all. At least that's what Trump was probably thinking. So Trump was sitting here with the Prince of Saudi Arabia. I don't know what they was discussing, but I guess some assistants of him came and poured water in a cup for him, and you see them give him the cup. And then another person came, they didn't pour the water or whatever it was in that cup for Donald Trump. They just came and handed it to him. And then you see him, he go and throw his junk back. Donald Trump looking at his junk, he looked down at it, and then he just got it in his hand. He looks over at Donald Trump to see if he drunk that junk. Trump just still having his hand, and then he ended up pitting it in the back and was like, nah, I ain't finna drink that junk. Y'all look at it. So look, you see them pour the junk for him. Donald Trump just get handed it. He ain't getting nothing poured. They just handing him the junk. Look, he took that junk back real quick. Donald Trump still got that junk in his hand. He looked down at it like, what the fuck is this? He like, nah, I ain't finna drink this junk. Look, he gonna put it in the side. He looked like, you gonna drink that? Look, Trump, I ain't drinking that shit. I'm not gonna lie, I be the same way. If somebody give me something and you ain't poured from the same junk he got it from, I'm not finna drink it. And then I didn't even see you pour mine in. You just came and handed it to me. And you expect me to drink it? Yeah, okay.
That is kind of crazy. Why would his just be brought to him and the other one is poured in front of them? I don't blame you, Mr. Trump. I would not be drinking anything from anybody either. I don't know. You guys think he should have just drank it? I don't know. Is it disrespectful? I don't even care. Like, I wouldn't personally. So I don't think he was wrong for that.
In the depth of the ocean, where the sun's light never reaches, a hidden world thrives in the crushing darkness. Here, in the cold, unyielding pressure, life exists in forms we can barely imagine. Every inch of this vast expanse is filled with creatures that have never been seen by human eyes. Their movements a mystery, their survival a marvel of adaptation.
Oh!
The water is thick with silence, broken only by the faint hum of the submersible. In the depths, time moves differently. Ages pass unnoticed. Life has learned to endure where nothing else can, adapting to an environment so extreme that it seems alien. In this place, the rules of the surface world don't apply. No light, no warmth, only the strange glowing creatures that pulse in the dark, weaving through the void.
That's where they should stay, in the depth of the ocean, because they are awesome and unique and have faces only their mothers would love, but stay in the depths. Those are crazy, crazy cool looking. I know for sure I haven't seen most of those. Like, they so look alien-like. It's insane how different they like, or just like unexpected they look. I don't know. So cool to see. Please don't surface. They're just napping on the benches. Oh, there's a lot of them napping. Oh. Just share it. Oh, that is so funny. Those benches are claimed. No tourists, no local. You are not getting a spot to sit down, that is for sure. That is so funny. I guess it's more comfortable than the ground. Who would have thought they want to lay on a bench? All right, you guys, I am going to end it there. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Do not forget to question everything. And until next time, stay safe.